Could the European Union candidate status improve labor rights in Georgia and facilitate legal employment opportunities for Georgian citizens in EU countries? The European Union and Georgia are working together on developing the job and labor market for Georgian citizens by expanding high-quality vocational education, improving labor policies, and supporting entrepreneurship training. As part of the accession process, Georgia will have to align all its legislation in the field of employment and labor to the EU acquis, the body of the EU law, and ensure its enforcement. This will include improvements related to working conditions, working times, non-discrimination, and other employee rights and obligations. As EU membership ultimately means accepting and enjoying the four freedoms, freedom of movement of goods, capital, services, and people, Georgian citizens will benefit from full labor rights within the whole European Union once Georgia joins the European Union. These include social protection and obligatory insurance, formal employment, salaries, and pensions. During the accession process, the Georgian government will have to address the current gap between Georgia and the EU in terms of labor standards and social protection.